Mathew Schaefer keeps exceeding expectations even when he's doing spectacular things. We'll talk about what he accomplished and what it means for the Islanders' future.
You're Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Gil Martin here. Welcome, everybody, to the Thursday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We have got a lot to discuss on today's show. Mathew Schaefer with another amazing moment to cap off his rookie season. He wins the Calder, but he does it in a way that is, well, very Mathew Schaefer. We'll talk about that and how it impacts the Islanders, plus a unique honor for a former Islander, Josh Bailey. We'll discuss what he accomplished, and we'll continue our player-by-player analysis of the Islanders with Adam Boqvist's season. Let's start with Mathew Schaefer. You know, typically the NHL announces the winner of all of their awards at the NHL Awards ceremony, and that usually takes place right around the draft, and it's a nice big deal, and it's a celebration of the game. Well, Wednesday, the NHL decided they were going to do things a little differently. And Mathew Schaefer went on Good Morning America and was informed right then and there in front of a national television audience that he was the winner of the Calder Trophy as the NHL's top rookie. And the amazing thing about this, there were 198 votes. And out of those 198 votes, you could vote first, second, third, fourth, fifth. That's how it went. Out of those 198 votes, Mathew Schaefer got all 198 first place votes. Nobody else got even one vote as the Rookie of the Year first place. Ivan Demidov of Montreal came in second. He had 120 second place votes. Beckett Seneca of Anaheim was next. He had 41 second place votes. And then you go on down the line. But the amazing thing here for Mathew Schaefer is that he just keeps doing things that nobody else has done. He became the first defenseman in NHL history to be the unanimous Rookie of the Year and the youngest player ever to be named the NHL's Rookie of the Year winner of the Calder Memorial Trophy. By the way, if you were wondering, the last player to win the Calder Trophy unanimously, you got to go all the way back to 1992-93 when Teemu Selanne, then of the original Winnipeg Jets, won the award unanimously after a 76-goal season. This doesn't happen very often. And amazingly enough, just to add to the accomplishment list for Mathew Schaefer, he is one day younger. He now is the youngest player to win the Calder, one day younger than Nathan MacKinnon when he won it back in 2014. And, you know, the accomplishments for Mathew Schaefer this year were outstanding. 23 goals, tying Hall of Famer Brian Leetch for the most goals scored by a rookie defenseman. The only other rookie who scored more goals as a defenseman than Schaefer was Jacob Chikrin, who scored 26 goals. But he was the only defenseman this year who had more goals than Schaefer. Schaefer, 8 power play goals, second most among defensemen this year. And second on the Islanders in goals, second on the Islanders in assists, second on the Islanders in points. Led the Islanders in ice time. In block shots, he was third, only behind Ryan Pollock and Adam Pelech. He scored it's like he led the team in power play goals with 8. Led all defensemen, was second on the team in power play assists with 10. I mean, everything that this kid has done has been incredible. And, is his game perfect? No. Obviously, there are things he needs to improve upon. He'd be the first person to tell you that. But, again, he dedicated the award to his deceased mother, Jennifer, who passed away February of 2024. He said, "We've gone through a lot as a family. My mom's helped me and my family so much with just everything. Obviously, we've had some tough losses, but it hasn't stopped us as a family. We've gotten a lot closer. This year was super important to me." This obviously could have went out to the 2 other amazing people. Demidov and Seneca have done a lot this year. They've done a lot for this league. As always, humble, acknowledging his inspiration, and just showing how mature he is for an 18-year-old. And let's get down to brass tacks here. Winning the lottery last year and then choosing to select Mathew Schaefer over Misa, over Hagens, over any of the other, because the Islanders had their choice of any player available in the draft, is just going to have far-reaching impact on this team. And, everydayers will recall just yesterday, we talked about the minutes that Kashawn Aitchison is putting up in juniors and what that means. Schaefer putting up the minutes here in the NHL. When you start putting together the potential that some of these prospects have, and remember, the Islanders will add another at 13 this year, barring something unforeseen. Another prospect who will probably be 2-3 years away from NHL ready, but that's okay. There are reasons for optimism for this team. But think about it. Youngest ever to win the Calder. First person in 33 years to win the Calder unanimously. Just a player who is special. And look, I am not saying that the New York Islanders will be the next great dynasty here. They've got a lot of work to do to clean up this messy, older, slower roster that Lou Lamoriello left the team and that Mathew Darche kind of compounded at the trade deadline. They've got a lot of work to do. But the same way that the Islanders' dynasty years were the foundation of that team was Dennis Potvin. Potvin, even though the Islanders were still pretty darn bad in his first season in the NHL, was the beginning of the development of that special dynasty team. And it took time, but he was able to do it. Bill Torrey building that special team. Well, Schaefer has the potential, at the very least, to be a foundational piece, a special part of a winning team. And it is just great to see what he has accomplished and what it's meant. Now, other Islanders who have won the Calder: Dennis Potvin, 1974. Brian Trottier, 1976. Mike Bossy, 1978. Brian Berard in 1997. And then Matt Barzal in 2018. The Islanders. Now, you notice when I read the list of Calder Trophy winners, 3 Hall of Famers in every other year: Potvin, Trottier, Bossy. 3 Hall of Famers, 3 foundational pieces. Every other year, the Islanders had a Calder Trophy winner, and they were able to build a special team around that and win 4 straight Stanley Cups. Now, times have changed. You've got free agency. You've got a salary cap. You've got a lot more teams. Winning even back-to-back Stanley Cups now is unusual and difficult. But can the Islanders build a contender around Mathew Schaefer, Ilya Sorokin, maybe Cole Eiserman, Victor Eklund, Kashawn Aitchison, whoever they pick this year at 13? There are potential players in place who I'm not going to say are going to be as good as those dynasty era players. Those players were so special, but who can be really good and can get this team to a point where they can contend. We have to see. It is probably something that can be accomplished, but it's going to take a lot of work. The scary thing about Mathew Schaefer is he can get better. And I say scary in a good way. Mathew Schaefer can improve defensively just by gaining more experience and by physically filling out as he matures from 18 to 21 to 25, working on, adding some muscle. He can certainly see the ice, do a little more defensively than he has. And he got better as the year went on, but he still needs to work on his defensive game. It's still not horrible. It's average. But he could be even better offensively. He can be even better defensively. This is his rookie year, and he's just most likely scratching the surface of what he can ultimately do. And as Islander fans, we need to appreciate the rare talent and maturity of this special player and hopefully look forward to building a team around him that can reach that level of consistent contention for a Stanley Cup. And look, 1983 was a long, long time ago. 43 years ago. Islander fans are hungry for another title. And let's hope that Mathew Schaefer can eventually help them get there. Congratulations to Schaefer. Fantastic accomplishment. Unanimous and deserved unanimous winner of the Calder Trophy. We have got more to get to on today's show. Josh Bailey also getting some unique honors. We'll talk about that. We'll continue our player-by-player analysis of the Islanders with Adam Boqvist. And for our Islanders birthday of the day, a player who was with the Islanders on their first Stanley Cup winning team, but then got traded to the Colorado Rockies. Let's see if you can guess who this Trail, British Columbia center was or is. We've got that and more next on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. If you've got a sweet tooth like I do, you know how tough it could be to find that perfect treat without all the sugar. That's why Cotton Candy 5-Hour Energy Shot brings that nostalgic flavor back in a whole new way. This is that classic cotton candy taste you remember, but with a tasty caffeine boost and zero sugar. That's a quick, easy way to satisfy that sweet craving while keeping things simple and on the go. I've always loved cotton candy, but I can't be eating sweets all day. This is a perfect alternative. The flavor really does bring back that throwback fruity vanilla vibe, and it's surprisingly smooth. I like how convenient it is, too. It's just a small portable shot that I could grab whenever I need a little pick-me-up, and it's become my go-to when I want something sweet without going overboard. Bring on the sweetness with Cotton Candy 5-Hour Energy Shots, available online now at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Today's episode is also brought to you by your friends at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even closer to the action, FanDuel has a great offer to get you started. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right, turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. I like using FanDuel during the playoffs because everything I need is right there in one place. You could check stats, trends, and matchups before making your picks, which makes the whole experience feel a lot more informed. Whether you're looking at player props or just following your favorite stars, it can add another level of excitement to every game. And it's really easy to navigate the app, and it makes playoff basketball even more engaging from start to finish. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. Don't forget to check out the Everydayer Club for ad-free episodes and access to a group chat with me and other listeners of Locked On Islanders. Tap the link in the show notes or go to lockedonislanders.supercast.com for more information. Mathew Schaefer wasn't the only winner of an award in Islanders world on Wednesday. It was also announced that Josh Bailey will be inducted into the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame, becoming the 5th Islanders player to receive that honor. And it was announced during Game 4 of the Sabres and Canadiens game on Tuesday night. And really, congratulations to Bailey. Played 15 seasons on the island with the Islanders, did not play for any other team in the NHL. 1,057 career games, 184 goals, 580 points, 241 penalty minutes. The thing about Bailey that I always liked, he really stepped up his game in the playoffs. And that's just impressive, the way he did that. He scored 2 playoff overtime winners, one in 2019, one in 2021, both of them coming against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And here is a guy who was clutch and was a real part of the Long Island community, really shined as an Islander, kind of faded at the end of his career. A lot of guys do. He was done at the age of 33. But, you know, class act on and off the ice, a very good playmaker, had 3 consecutive seasons of 40 or more assists, including a career high 53 assists and 71 points in 2017, 2018, represented the Islanders at the All-Star game that year. And again, just one of those guys who, no, he's never going to make the Hockey Hall of Fame. That's not the kind of player that Josh Bailey was. But the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame, absolutely deserved. And eventually the Islanders Hall of Fame, 100% deserved. And hopefully that will happen very shortly. The other Islanders players, by the way, who are in the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame, John Tonelli, Ken Morrow, Dennis Potvin, Ed Westfall, and oh yeah, Stan Fischler also inducted, the writer and broadcaster, and that is also well deserved. Steve Levy also going in as part of the class of 2026, a Long Island native, so that's a little bonus there. And congratulations to Bales on this accomplishment. And, no, he's no longer with the team, but he's always going to be an Islander, working on the radio broadcasts right now with Alan Furing. So still connected to the Islanders organization. And just congratulations to Bales. I love seeing guys who were part of this organization and part of this community for such a long time earning honors that, getting honors that they deserve. So congratulations to Josh Bailey as he will be inducted later this year into the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame. More to get to on today's show. Adam Boqvist, how did he do this year playing his role? We will grade his season, talk about his potential future role with the team, if any. Plus, we'll have our Islanders birthday of the day. Did you get the answer? See if you're right. All that coming up on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Hims. ED is way more common than most guys think. Millions of guys deal with it at some point, and that's exactly why Hims offers a straightforward way to handle it. Hims connects you with licensed healthcare providers online, giving you access to legitimate ED treatment options from the comfort of your home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward process that makes it easier to take care of yourself. You just complete a quick online intake and a provider reviews your information. If treatment is right for you, it ships directly to your door in discreet packaging, which makes the whole experience feel private and stress-free. So to get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/LockedOnNHL. That's hims.com/LockedOnNHL for your free online visit. hims.com/LockedOnNHL. Prescription required. See website for details and important safety information. Sildenafil is the generic version of Viagra. Viagra is a registered trademark of Viatris Specialty LLC. Hims is not affiliated with or endorsed by Viatris. We continue our player-by-player analysis of the Islanders this year with Adam Boqvist. And again, remember, these grades are a combination of expectations and performance, and a C+ is an average grade. And Adam Boqvist, primarily the Islanders' 7th defenseman. He only played in 28 games this year. He had 4 assists. He was a -9 in plus-minus, had 8 penalty minutes. One of his 4 assists did come on the power play. He had 17 shots on goal in 28 games and blocked 23 shots. That was up from only 9 a year ago, and recorded 11 hits, 5 takeaways, 11 giveaways, and he averaged only 13:06, 13 minutes and 6 seconds on ice during the games that he played. And look, Adam Boqvist had a difficult role. It is not easy to stay sharp and sit in the press box, 4 games, 3 out of 4 games, 4 out of 5 games, and then be ready and just step in and do the thing. It's not that simple. You don't get as much practice time. You don't get as much chemistry with your teammates. All of this is kind of up in the air. And Boqvist, I think he was sort of a good candidate to be the 7th defenseman. He's no longer a prospect at this stage of his career. He is what he is. He is 25 years old. He'll turn 26 in August. And, he is a 3rd pair defenseman at best, a 7th defenseman or strong AHL defenseman at worst. And, he more or less did that job. The future for Adam Boqvist, however, is up in the air. He played on an $850,000 a year contract. He is now a restricted free agent. He will turn into an unrestricted free agent in 2027, in one more year, basically, unless the Islanders or some other team signs him to a longer-term contract this offseason. Will the Islanders qualify Boqvist? They might, and here's why. As I said, you don't want a Kashawn Aitchison or an Isaiah George, a guy who you view as a prospect, to be that black ace, that 7th defenseman who's going to spend most games in the press box. Boqvist can do that. He can do it at or near the league minimum, and you know what you're getting from him. So if he's willing to sign another 1-year deal, team-friendly, term-wise, I could see the Islanders qualifying Boqvist and bringing him back. Do I think he's a major part of the foundation of this team going forward? No, but I think he can be a useful, serviceable 7th defenseman. And the fact that he's a right-shot defenseman adds to his value because the Islanders lack depth and talent on the right side throughout the organization, not just at the NHL level. I give him a C. It was close to a C+, but I gave Boqvist a C for the season. And we'll see if he's back on Long Island next season. Time now for our Islanders birthday of the day. And today is the 68th birthday of former Islanders forward Steve Tambellini, the Trail, British Columbia native, 6 feet, 185 pounds, first round pick by the Islanders in the 1978 draft, 15th overall. Had an amazing last season with the Lethbridge Broncos in the WCHL, 75 goals and 155 points in 66 games. Made his NHL debut with the Islanders in 78-79, only played 1 game, but still got into one, and was with the Islanders for 79-80 and most of 80-81, but he was traded to the Colorado Rockies in the Chico Resch deal. Played for Colorado, stayed with the team when they moved to New Jersey in 82-83, had 29 goals in 81-82, 25 goals in 82-83, then went on to play for Calgary and Vancouver before finishing his career in Austria in 1989-90. Tambellini played in 553 career NHL games, 160 goals, 310 points, 105 penalty minutes. He played in 2 playoff games and had 1 assist, but it was not as a member of the Islanders. He was on the 80 Stanley Cup team, but did not appear in a postseason game. One of his better games as an Islander, December 16th, 1980, Islanders hosting the Winnipeg Jets at the Nassau Coliseum. Pierre Hamel, the goalie for Winnipeg, Glenn Chico Resch in between the pipes for the Islanders. And Islanders up 3-0 after 1 period. And our Islanders birthday of the day, Steve Tambellini, sets up Dennis Potvin for a power play goal a minute and a half into period 2. That made it 4-0 in the third period, with the Islanders up 4-1. Tambellini and John Tonelli set up Bob Nystrom for a goal. That increases the lead. And then Tambellini says, I can do this too. He scores his 10th of the year. Bob Nystrom and John Tonelli with the assists. Islanders cruise to a 6-2 win, but for Steve Tambellini, a goal, 2 assists. He was a +1. He scored on his only shot on goal. And, you know, the amazing thing that maybe we forget about Steve Tambellini, his son Jeff also played for the New York Islanders about 10 years ago or so. So Tambellini, the family is Islander legacy, and that's pretty cool as well. I'm Gil Martin. I've been covering the New York Islanders for 2 decades, and I wrote the book Ice Wars on the history of the Islanders' rivalry with the Rangers from 1972 till the modern era. So glad you could join us today to talk a little Islanders hockey. And we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Also, check out the Everydayer Club. You'll get ad-free episodes of Locked On Islanders and access to a group chat with me and other listeners of this show. So tap the link in the show notes or go to lockedonislanders.supercast.com for more information. If you have a question, a comment, maybe a topic you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, send us an email to lockedonislanders@gmail.com. If you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we discuss whatever's on your mind. You could follow the show on X at Locked On Isles. You could follow me, Gil Martin, on X at Ice Wars, NYR vs NYI. We'll keep you up to date on all things Islanders all year long. And it's great to talk Islanders hockey with you, game time or anytime. Everydayers, we are back tomorrow. We will have the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings. We'll dip into the mailbag, and we will continue our player-by-player analysis of the Islanders with Simon Holmstrom. Until then, have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. And, of course, let's go Islanders.